How do I get out of debt? Recognize the problem. It sounds obvious, but you first need to realize that you have a sending to income problem. Once you have recognized your problem, you need to map out a detailed solution to help you get to where you want to be financially, and hiring a professional can make this an easy process. There are many debt relief options available today, such as debt settlement, debt management, credit counseling, and bankruptcy. If you would like help with your debt relief options, then please fill out our form or contact one of our top 3 get-out-of-debt companies. Get help. Sometimes it is best to contact a professional to see what your best option is to get out of debt. There are many debt relief options to help you get out of debt in today's market, and there are many companies that can help tailor a debt relief program out for your specific situation. Fill out our form or contact one of our top 3 get-out-of-debt companies to see what options are best for you. Is this a scam? Before doing business with anyone, you should know who they are. You should know how long they have been in business. You should know all costs involved with their service. You should know whether or not they are properly licensed to conduct business. The scammers are those who say that debt elimination is a scam. Do your own research and check out the statutes and codes of all that is mentioned in this special report. Sometimes when you are not ready for the truth or knowledge, it will not come to you, or you will not be open to ideas that can help you. You should understand how you can transact in commerce without getting drawn into the black hole of debt slavery and political confusion. You must first get prepared with knowledge and awareness of the fundamental principles. Some or even all of these pages might make you feel a bit uncomfortable, as they did me when I first began to really look at the illusions and the promoters of the illusions. You cannot be free as long as you believe in the illusions. You must step through the looking glass, accept the red pill, and be ready for an amazing maze of lies that will vanish with your new awareness. You must ask questions, lots of them, and only when you ask deep questions will you get deep understanding if this is for real or fake. What we do is a labor of love. Freedom is a precious experience, and our families are precious too. This is a work dedicated to my children and grandchildren, and yours too. We have a lot of work to do, but I hope you can take it on playfully as a world of freedom and choice opens to you. To make this possible, you must open to it. Do yourself and the rest of America a favor. Eliminate credit card debt. Eliminate student loan debt. Discover tax freedom. And speed equity growth in your home by discovering who you really are. Come soar with all the free birds. Understand the debt trap. You are in a debt trap. It was built intentionally to serve the overlords of the planet. Who are they? International bankers is how they are often described, but they are real, even though you would rarely meet them or hear about them. They run things by pulling strings. You might have noticed this happening in October 2008, when Henry Paulson and Ben Bernanke tried to twist the arm of the U.S. House of Representatives to get a bailout for the banks and Wall Street. When the House refused to give them almost $1 trillion and unlimited power to spend more, the overlords' puppets, Paulson and Bernanke, turned to the Senate. Appropriations bills are only supposed to start in the House according to the U.S. Constitution. But that meant nothing to the overlords. They are the law. Their puppet declared that it was just a goddamn piece of paper. They did a lot more than twist arms in the Senate to get an appropriations bills passed. Then it was taken to the House of Representatives with a lot of pork and toys to help convince the lower house to follow the dictates of the overlords. Not only has that bailout been ineffective to staunch the economic bleeding, it has contributed to a worsening economy. Debt elimination is the only way out. Why would they do that? Because now is the time for closing the gates on the great pasture. The overlords have obtained so much power and control in the world that they can begin to be a bit more obvious than they have in the past. Another reason they would collapse the economy is because that is how they make huge gains. They did it on purpose. The housing bubble and the crash were engineered by the U.S. government, Federal Reserve, and Wall Street. The mortgage system crumbled while regulators jousted and the statutes against predatory lending were overridden by Bush administration edict. They've done it in the past in the Great Depression. The overlords had to deal to set up America to become their personal property and the American people, the New Deal. Today it is commonly called the New World Order. George H.W. Bush said it outright in 1991. Gordon Brown and the Pope in 2008. The crop is ripe for the harvest. But you don't have to be their livestock. You can choose another way. Real debt elimination is the way to real freedom. The Federal Reserve has been forced to admit their fraud recently, 2009, by a Freedom of Information, FOI, demand by a financial news company, Bloomberg. The Fed just told Bloomberg to go jump in the lake. Bloomberg sued the Fed under the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, to find out just what sort of toxic assets it was taking onto its books, and from whom. The Fed's rationale is fascinating. That the New York Fed, where most of the relevant documents sit, is not subject to FOIA requirements. Is that because it's not really a government entity? You know the answer, of course. No, the Fed is not a government entity. That's part of the banker's fraud. We've been conned for nearly a century. Ben Bernanke is appointed but not employed by we the people. Now it seems that there is hope. Ron Paul has presented a bill that is to audit the Fed. Over 280 Congress critters have signed on. The bill seems ready for passage. What happens then? A monetary crisis, of course. The solution to the crisis might most likely be that the International Monetary Fund will have to act and bring forward the one world currency that Russian Premier Medvedev flashed about at the 2009 G8 conference. Slowly we creep closer and closer to the one world dictatorship of the New World Order that George Bush Sr. talked about and the dictatorship that Bill Clinton facilitated with his NAFTA and anti-terrorism bill that George's son, George Bush Jr., turned into the U.S. Patriot Act, and that Barack Obama is implementing. If you examine the pattern of events in history, you can begin to extrapolate a trajectory of events that are leading us to a new feudal dictatorship. Only an informed people can change the seemingly inexorable flow of events. We've been programmed to concede our rights and responsibilities so that others can control our lives more completely. Even the new healthcare system that many progressives are pushing holds huge dangers in the power it gives to deny healthcare to some. A bill to control who can produce food increases the New World Order's control over the food supply. The biofuel program urged by environmentalists, supposedly to clean up the atmosphere and reduce dependence on oil, especially foreign oil, has reduced food supply to many nations, raised prices above what most third world families can pay, resulting in hunger and ultimately starvation at the hands of the market economy. But the markets are increasingly controlled and manipulated according to a New World Order agenda. They are doing what they said they would do to obtain control. Political power derives from economic power, not from the ballot box. You will find debt elimination tools here that you can use to evade their money control ploys and help you and your family be free. Most importantly, you can use their system to do it. One of my expert friends has a bailout program for you that uses their debt collector and bookkeeper, the IRS, to collect and refund the credit the bank stole from you. And we show you how to make use of the corporate trust the overlords created for you. You see the name of that corporate trust on your driver's license, your Social Security card, your credit cards or ATM cards, on your tax statements, and on your checking account? It's usually expressed in all caps, like the name of the United States of America on the dollar bill. You just thought it was your name.